Leonard Ellerbe, you got to be fucking joking. Before I get into this, hit the thumbs up, sub, and hit the notification bell. That way you can get updated when I drop the newest content like this. With that being said, let's get into this bullshit. So Leonard Ellerbe was saying that Canelo, he does not believe is the pound for pound number one. He gives it to Crawford, but his reasonings behind it are because Canelo really hasn't fought anybody and that he believes Caleb Plant will beat Canelo. And here's my thing. If you want to argue for Terrence Crawford being pound for pound number one, I can understand that. But for me, personally, at this moment in time, my pound for pound list shifts. It is not stagnant. It is fluid. It moves based on what these guys do, if they win, if they lose. Here's the issue. I've always had, at least for like the last 2-3 years, Terrence Crawford is my number one pound for pound. But I can no longer let him stay there because he's been inactive for too long. And I had to move Canelo above him. So my top three is Canelo, we got Crawford, and then Ellebe. Crawford has to come back and fight again, or he's going to continue to fall behind other guys if he does not fight. Now, coming back to this. Canelo Alvarez versus Plant. He said Plant is going to be aggressive and be in his shit pretty much. And a big guy coming at him. First off, Plant is taller than Canelo. He is by no stretch bigger than Canelo. Let's get that straight. There is a difference in being tall and being bigger. I've said this multiple times. You can be taller than somebody, but still smaller than them. Size has to do with your weight, okay? Period. So, Plant may be taller, but if he goes in there to get in Canelo's shit and attack him, Canelo is going to knock him the fuck out early in the fight. Early. And I mean early. I don't even see it going past 3-4 rounds if Caleb Plant attacks him. Because Caleb Plant has no fucking punching power. He's had 12 knockouts in his entire career. And none of those were from hard-thudding shots. Accumulation of punches can do it, but with the guy of the defense of Canelo and the fucking power of Canelo, you're not going to accumulate that many shots on him like that unless it's deep into the fight. And then you can make your attack. And then you can go after him. If you can get him tired, if you can slow him down, and if you can make that defense fall apart. However, if you do what Lenard said and go in there and attack Canelo from round one and try to put the pressure on him, when you don't have any power, Canelo's not even going to respect you. Canelo will eat shots and walk fucking through you to hit you because I don't believe Caleb Plant has that type of power to even affect Canelo's movement, to even knock him off balance or stop one of his shots. I literally believe Canelo could get hit flush by a Caleb Plant shot and be releasing at the same time and still land with full power. That's how much harder I think Canelo hits and how good I think his chin is compared to what Plant brings. He also said that Plant's one of them guys that rises to the occasion. Bruh, we've seen this dude go life or death and barely win against lower opposition. I'm sorry. Canelo has things around him. Controversial wins. Draws that could have went the other way. But at the end of the day, the guys that these controversial wins are against are elite fighters. We're not talking about journeymen. We're not talking about guys that you fight on the way up. We're talking about elite fighters. So it's completely different when you look at quality of opposition that he's had these tight fights with when he's had tight fights. But the last 2 years, Canelo don't even look like the same Canelo. Canelo has gotten so much better. I would say ever since he's fought Daniel Jacobs, you have seen nothing but an improvement fight after fight after fight after fight after fight after fight after fight. He has looked better, better, and better, and better. And a guy who's supposed to be a mobile fighter, very good boxer, technically sound, Billy Joe Saunders just got his fucking face broken. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Billy Joe Saunders, granted, I didn't give him the shot that I would have given him when he fought David Lemieux. Okay? To me, he hasn't looked as good, but he's still very good. And Canelo, I won't say he beat him with ease, but it wasn't the hardest matchup. It wasn't as hard as it could have been. So he showed a lot of improvement because now he's being able to keep up with mobile fighters. And as that rounds progressed and got deeper into the fight, he was even getting more and more in locked in step with Billy Joe Saunders, where Billy Joe couldn't use his mobility the same way. So again, I must say, I hope the Caleb Plant fight happens. I understand Leonard Ellerbe is involved with the PBC, and he's going to do what he's got to do to boost up fighters, but let's not get this shit confused or mistaken. Caleb Plant is going to get knocked the fuck out, especially if he does what Ellerbe says and comes straight at him. No, the only way Caleb stands a shot is if he can fight off the back foot, use his range and his length to play keep away. But I look at it like this. If Billy Joe Saunders couldn't do it in a fucking ring built for a 20-foot giant, how the fuck is Plant going to be able to do it? Plant has never showed the agility, mobility, or boxing IQ as a Billy Joe Saunders. Like, this shit is just stupid. But again, the only thing that I could agree with him on when he gave this interview was arguing for Terrence Crawford as number one pound for pound, because I've always had him above Canelo. But after Canelo beat Billy Joe Saunders, I can no longer keep an inactive fighter above a guy who was actively fighting champion after champion after champion. Then he had a tune-up into another champion just a couple of months later. So Canelo has earned the top spot. I'm saying that right now officially. Canelo is my number one pound for pound. I haven't said it in my videos, but right now, currently, at this moment, Canelo is the number one pound for pound. Until Terrence Crawford beats somebody better than what Canelo's fighting, or at least becomes actively fighting. But you can't sit on the shelf and remain king. You just can't do it. That's not how it works for me. I don't know how it works for other people, but not for me. But to end this video, oh my goodness, man, this shit is ridiculous. Oh my goodness, I want to see the look on people's faces who actually believe Caleb Plant can win and bet money on him. Because there's going to be a lot of broke motherfuckers walking around. I don't even think he's going to get money. This dude will probably be like a positive, I don't know, like 1,000, 5,000. Like the odds for him are going to be so good if you bet for him that you're going to make so much money because the Vegas odds makers know this dude is going to get slept. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section. This shit was ridiculous.